Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Pete. You're watching Pete J. Cooper the Model Builder, and we are going to build something new. Nobody is seeing anything at the moment, but what if I show you that? You may know what it is then. It's the Faucon Millennium. This is something that is starting up in France again, and I wanted to do this for quite some time and I couldn't find it. England stopped, Germany is not doing it, France is not, is suddenly doing it again, so I was bloody happy that that is all going on. So the French version through a French address. I made the screw box already and I've got two parts. And let's see what that brings. So you can, as you saw, these leaflets here, shows you all the things that you can get from. It's from Altea. What's their name? No names on here. Let's see if I. Altea. It's from Altea, which is, I think it's no, I'm quite sure it's a D'Agostini brand, the French version of it. Really lovely build. We're going to start. We haven't got a lot to do in these parts, but what I will show you is the stuff that I usually use while I make these videos. That is some of the standard stuff I use. So we've got the cutter for the packs, staple, destapler, a sprue cutter, a light, a scalpel, different kinds of tweezers, different kinds of screwdrivers, and this is for when we have to super glue. I use this. This one can be chucked because that's nothing anymore, but I use those little cups. I use those little cups for using putting glue in. I've got some extra screwdrivers right there. What I always use is my DJI mic. I've got in my hand at the moment a DJI Pocket 2. As you can see there is the Insta360 link. I've got a cookie there, glue, water, tea, more glues, and a bit of paints that I can use, markers, masking tape, files, and a whole lot of other little things that we can use. I've got my glues here. Super glues, and micro crystal clear is very good. Micro crystal clear when you're putting in crystal clear stuff. It does not whitewash the parts, so it's easy to put. And as you can see right there, these are the two. The blue one is number 1, the red one is number 2, and that is the English guide I've printed from online. Okay, usually what I do is I have a cup with a little bit of oil in it, and that's almost empty, so let's fill it up. It's usually just for the tip of the screws, so it's easier to get them in, so I don't need a whole lot of oil in that. And it's a standard oil, sewing machine oils or something like that. I've got these cups I always use for screws. I've got a magnetic mat that I use with those screws so I can keep them together. I've got a computer there that has the image that we're seeing right there. I've got a DJI right here, and two big lights here, and behind me you see what I'm doing at the moment, or most of the stuff that I'm doing at the moment. The Jaguar, are the last two parts are coming, and then that will be finished. We've got 3 more parts for the Broodmaster to do. We'll be finishing. I've got almost all the stuff for the GT40 that is down there. I've got almost all the stuff for the Samba, but I'm missing 2 packs with both of those. I'm waiting on D'Agostini collectibles / model space to bring with those. Fire truck parts are coming in as well. Porsche I have in, and that's more or less everything I can do. So without further ado, let's go straight into building this little thing. And we're going to what I call the belly cam. So we can do everything here. What you also saw is a face light to brighten up my face a little bit. As we go right there, I haven't got a camera up, so we have to do with this, and we can do this though. So this is the Focal Millennium Magazine #1, as you can see right there. In French, a little bit of the history of the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, the young Han Solo, Chewie, Chewbacca. A little bit about the interior. There's a gun turret here that they're talking about. It's all in French, so I don't get too much of that. But this is the build guide. We've got 1, 2, 3 pieces, which are the back door or wall, or the and that's the floor. We've got that part, and let me just get the English version for that. So we've got a free screwdriver in the next pack, but that's oh, I don't have this one in the first part. But we've got a gun turret, or a gun, some parts for the structure, a part for the outside of the structure, and parts of the cockpit that we are going to do. And we're going to start with the cockpit, so let's get those parts out. This little part we are going is the back wall where the lighting will go on right there. And this is a sticker that we will be putting on like so. So that's the first thing we do. We need to get that backing off. And don't get the whole thing off in one go, because you need to... I'm shaking, sorry guys. I think I've done pretty well. Right there is what we have. And there are, if you look at those, there are some parts that will be lit up because from the back. So those will be lit up, and all the other holes that are there will be lit up as well. Let's chuck that away and put that to the side, and we're going to build the laser cannon, or what, I don't know what they're calling it. And we've got the first screws, and with this build they don't number these screws, they give you a guide, and we got that in we get that in part 2. They give you a guide, as you can see right there, what screws there are, and they've given them different colors to differentiate them from the other ones. So if I'm looking at this properly, we only have 6 different types of screws on this build, and that's really nice. And we will be building something like the structure that is on the not the Millennium Falcon. Of course it is on the Millennium Falcon, but a structure like the USS of the Enterprise that that I did as well. But we will have to find out when that comes to fruition, when that comes back, because at the moment it's not doing anything. I'm using a PH00 screw, and it's sticking, so let's leave it at that. Those on like so, and then the other side, of course, as well. And it's getting fiddly, so I'm going to put my thumb between them. And is there a difference? Yep. So we're getting that cannon out and pushing that in from underneath. And then we're getting the other one out and pushing that on top. And that will put everything in its place. Should that be coming out as easily as it did? Well, we'll find out, and we'll be putting some screws in there. 3 different ones. 3 same ones into those holes there. But it seems that there's no color on this at the moment, so we might be putting some paint over that. So we will have to find out. Let me just look at that and see. Well, one of the guns is coming out. 2 of the guns are coming out. They're all coming out, and I've put that too tight. So this is the gun that we have when we're done. The laser shooter. With that, this one is done. We will be doing something about those and coloring them or drawing them or sorry, painting them a bit. But we'll find out how we have to do that when we're a little bit further on in the build. So this is this build done, stage number 1. We do have some other parts. Why are we not doing anything with that? Yeah, TF1 and TF2. These are the parts that we're going to use now. Okay. So what we have left, and that looks greased up already, so I don't see why we're going to grease that up a little bit more later on. And that part of the cockpit, that can have some modifications, but we'll do that later on as well. That's the first pack emptied. In the second pack, as we have here, we have that part, really nice and big. We have these little brackets to put those together. We have more of those, but for these are for 4 and these are for 2. Then we've got that table. Some more for the structure, and the numbered on the material itself as well. We've got some small black screws, and we've got 2 stickers, and this can be chucked. It's empty. We've got a cockpit sticker here, and the table sticker, and that's because it has a special name. That's what they call a hologram play table, of course. Dejadic. That's a Dejadic table. Well, okay. I'm into Star Wars, but I am not into it that far that I know exactly what that means. But it's a kind of chess that they play, as you see in in one of the Star Wars films, and it's called Dejadic. Okay, we're getting those parts, all of those parts together. We're getting TF1. This is not very clear, guys. Sorry about that. I've got the TF1 in, and it seems that we're putting in one of those 4 things in here. And I don't see, is there a certain way to put that in? So we're putting one in there and a 2-1 in there, and then one of one of those parts will be put into the other side of that. Let's get a larger screwdriver in. That's one. Don't over tighten it. I just stop screwing and putting that lightly. We're going to do the same thing here. That's that part together, and then we need to get TF2. Yep. Right there, there's it's hard for you to see because it's so small. We have those numbers, and I think it goes on like so. It feels proper. It feels better than what we did on the Enterprise. And let's see where we go next. I've done that. We're putting a 2 thing on this side and a 4 thing on that side. And now we're putting them together. This is number 3. Then we're going to put a 2 brackets on this side, 2 screw hole bracket on this side, and then a 4 screw hole bracket on that side. Oh, there is still a screw on. Did I put something on without me remembering that I did? So we've got it like that. As you can see, it's more or less like there's 2, 2, 2, and I see that I've forgotten to put a screw in. That was the screw that was supposed to go in right there. So we've got TF1, TF2, TF3, and we're going to put TF4 on with those brackets to the top. And it falls into part because I've put it in a slight angle, which is very good. That was not what was happening when we had the Enterprise. This is just this part of the frame and stage 15 done. The only thing we can do still, and is that this way or that way? It seems to be this way. That would be going on like so. It's loosely in there, so we need to put it away neatly, like so. So we're going to put that aside because we're not going to touch that anymore. We're going to get the table in. That is the table, and I don't know if you see this, but there are some colored dots on the sides. So we're going to have to put it on like so, with the black as that edge there. So let's get that backing off. That seems to be looking okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So we're going to get that away. And the last thing we do is put that there, and then we can test whether or not the gun is at the right position. So let's do this one first. And there are some holes in this one, so we need to make sure that we line them up properly. So I've made sure those holes are in the right position, and I've opened them up a bit, but we will do something about it when we put them together in on later. That gun turret is going to be put in right there. But we'll do that later. It's hard to put in, and I need to know how hard I have to screw that. This is it can move now, but if I screw it up a little bit tighter, it stops being able to move. So let's zoom out again. As you can see right there, these are the parts that we have at the moment, and that's all for this stage and this pack to be done. We did get that, and I did not show you. It's a good screwdriver, so let's put it up front a bit more. But that is pack 2 done as well, and we will have to wait a little bit longer because I left pack pack 1 done. I left pack 2 at the French address that I have, and I'm going to only bring it up when pack 3 is out, because then it's a little bit less shipping costs that I have to pay. But with that, guys, this build is done, and I'm going to put everything away, and hope to see you in a month's time or so for this build. And but before that time, I've got quite a lot more videos to show you, so have a look at those as well. The X-Wing is done, so have a look at that. That's Luke Skywalker's Red 5 X-Wing. Have a look at that. That's a really nice build, but there are a lot more cars in there as well, and some other stuff is coming in new. I've ordered 2 new ones these last few days, and you will see when they come up. One is from Agora, and another one is from Italy. And you'll see that that's a childhood dream for me to build that. It's a car that I've loved because of its design for a long time. So loved it for a long time. So we are going to do that as well. And with that, I want to say thank you very much. Please like, subscribe, and pass it on, and do have a look at my other builds as well. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye bye.